The Asahi Cup, it went straight to penalties, and sadly City didn't come out on top. Inter Milan take the win on penalties. But of course, this is just the beginning of pre-season. Steph, we maybe won't talk about the quality of penalties, but great to see run out for players. We saw, obviously, I mean, there'll be a few highlights we're going to focus on in just in a second, but great just to get the season underway and get players back on the pitch. Yeah,
definitely. Obviously excited for the next few weeks to see us get better and better each game. But I think in terms of run out against Inter Milan, it's a perfect start for us. I think for players to get minutes under the belt and just to get a feel of being back into a rhythm under a new manager. I think even though we lost on penalties, I think it was a good performance, and you could see we were starting to get a little bit better as the game was going on.
But Paul, I mean, this is an obvious question, but like the importance of pre-season is not winning. It's the things we were speaking about before. So, you know, for those watching who maybe missed us at the start, fitness, starting just to get touches on the ball, patterns of play, starting to learn maybe about teammates, maybe as well. So we saw a lot of the academy players on there as well. First time they're all playing together. That all feeds into what these games are about, and new tactics from a new manager.
It does, and I think especially second half, I think Enzo will take a lot away from that. You know, to see the young kids coming on, performing the way that they did do. The results, like I've played in Steph, you'll be the same. I've played in pre-season games where I've not won one, and I've won the first game of the season, or I've won every single pre-season game, then I've lost the first 4 games of the season. So it's impossible to tell, but you know, you're just looking for little signs that the team's knitting together, they're doing what they want you to do. And, you know, we said at the start that for these young academy kids, this is an unbelievable opportunity to put our marker down and show Enzo and his staff that they're all about. And I think there's one out there in the second half today. Yeah, that stood out as in probably the best player on the pitch.
Yeah, Ryan McAdoo came on the right hand side. Now he's a player that you might have heard whispers of. We signed him from Chelsea, I think, a couple of seasons ago. I think he's 18, or I think he could be playing for the under-18s last season. Was playing for the 21s. But came on in the second half, and we're going to look at some of his best bits now throughout that second half. Steph, direct, positive, his passing was great, shooting, the all-round package. It was a fantastic second half performance.
He didn't look like an EDS player, if I'm being honest. I think he'd really kind of probably took that experience of being involved in the FA Cup last season, and I think from a winger, he had everything that we wanted to probably see in this game. Was direct, he made great runs in behind, he attracted players, he passed when he should have passed, and I think, of course, the end product, I think he hit the post, or he had 2 chances where he could have potentially scored, but he's getting in the right areas, and I think that's what we want from wingers, especially in these types of conditions. It's someone just to try and attract 2 or 3 more defenders to free up someone else, and if you can take them on, I think he was our real bright spot today. The same as Semenyo in the first half. I think they were both really direct and just got out their feet, and old-fashioned winger player, but I think for an 18-year-old to have performance like that, I think we've all sat talking about him for the whole of the second half, so I'm sure a lot of the fans will be as well.
We also mentioned as well, surprisingly, for someone who's maybe slightly smaller of stature, great strength, and I also know Andy Morrison in commentary was talking about the run that we saw there, how he checks to then go. It's the intelligence, I guess, as well.
It is. Look, you can tell that when he gets the ball at his feet that he wants to takes defenders on. He's tricky and can go right and go left, but his movement off the ball was fantastic. You know, a couple of times he sort of came in short as if he's getting it to feet and fainted, then spun in behind, and it's a nightmare. Andy will tell you himself, it's a nightmare for defenders, especially with somebody so sharp. And you know, he doesn't look the tallest, but he looks really strong on the ball. And I think the biggest thing was the belief that he showed.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay knowing all these kids have got unbelievable ability, or they wouldn't be at the football club. But to take that into a first team game, and the belief and the confidence every time he got it, it looked as if he wanted to be the main man out there.
Yeah, it was electric. Just what I've mentioned him a couple of times as well. And just say, as much as I love pre-season, I think the highlight today, hearing Andy Morrison on commentary alongside Alistair Moore,
it is.
That really is.
Alongside seeing him beforehand as well.
Yeah, there we go. That was fantastic. Also, I mean, we were making a point before as well, Paul, which I thought was interesting to mention. Obviously, we've got the big man, best striker in world football, one of the best players in the world. We don't really have a backup. We had Sangare came on there in the second half. Divin Mubama, who went out to Leicester for last season. Obviously, we saw him play a little bit under Pep. Mubama played in the first half. There's a place, it feels, in the squad that maybe, rather than going out and trying to get someone as backup, you could have it very much in your miss. It's a good chance for these strikers to maybe make that case.
And I think their mentality as individuals, being away with the first team now, they've got to look at it and think, oh, look, we've got Erling, he's the big man, he's the main man. But there's not really a backup striker to go in there. We've got Marmoush, we've got other players that can play that role, but not as an out-and-out nine. And I think the three of them, for the next 10 days, 2 weeks, looking at the games, the rest of pre-season going forward, I think they've got to think it's a real opportunity for me here.
Yeah.
Because they're out-and-out number nines, which we've not got apart from Erling.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and it could save the club a few quid having to go and buy, not a replacement, but as a backup striker for Erling.
Yeah.
Get me wrong, Erling's going to start every single game if he's fit. There's going to be times where he needs to come out, or he might be injured, or there's cup games and just give him a rest to refresh him a little bit. And so for these three kids you mentioned, I think it's an unbelievable opportunity for them.
Yeah, it's a great
to really, really, in training every single day, every minute they get on the pitch, is to show them that they could be that one.
We mentioned a couple of plays there. Obviously, I mentioned at the start, this is the first game under the Enzo Maresca era. We learned a lot about kind of what he's about, how he's maybe going to want to setting up his teams to play. This is only the first game. Was there any, just sprinkles or tiny things you saw where you were seeing, okay, maybe that's what he's looking for or hoping to do? As I say, a lot of that's about what we've said: fitness, getting players on the pitch, start working with the ball again. But yeah, between the two of you, was there anything you saw? I know you mentioned the pressing, Paul. Steph, anything for you?
Yeah, I think in terms of the press, I think the intensity to win the ball back when we've lost it, I think you can see they're trying to get numbers around the ball. I think maybe that little bit of a balance in midfield, whether it's two sitting in front of the back four, or you're bringing the full back in to be that little bit more, have that little bit more protection. And I think in general, I think we probably don't notice it yet, but I think when more players come back, it'll get more evident as the game goes on. But I think, for me, I think the positive part was the fact that we're able to play with that intensity, even when we're in the beginning of pre-season. And I think just that energy and that willingness to try and adapt his new ideas. And Rico Lewis looked far more comfortable being in that centre midfield position. I think rather than coming from the right into midfield, when he's in there, he's able to control the possession a lot more, and he's able to use his attributes getting forward and joining in play a little bit better. But I think in general, I think you'll be really happy. I think you've got a group of new players that have travelled. It's pre-season. You've got players that are in different parts of their fitness journey at this moment in time. So to be able to do that and experiment with just generally different players is a step in itself, rather than all the tactical work that we'll probably see later on in the pre-season games.
It'll be interesting whether the players worked out themselves or whether it was something they said at half-time, because we spoke about half-time. It was so congested in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
There was bodies everywhere. We sort of kept trying to play through and we kept getting caught in it. But the second half, every time we got the chance to get the ball wide to Savinho or McAdoo, it was a completely different game.
Yeah.
It just caused Inter all sorts of problems. So whether that's something the players worked out themselves, or whether that's something at half-time that Enzo went in and said, look, we want to play through the middle, but we can't. We have to start using the wide areas.
Yeah, and that's where we started getting a lot of joy. We can look at the goals from the game. Both of them came in the first half. First one was set up by, obviously, probably player of the match for the first half, Semenyo. Really positive. Just looks like he's picked up where he left off, and good movement from Mubama, Steph.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this is, we've seen a lot from Semenyo and Doku last season, doing that, beating the full-backs and putting the ball into good areas, and just us getting numbers in the box. I think that's the most important thing. If we're going to play this way, it's about being able to cause a little bit of carnage for defenders, so they are not really comfortable with their position. But I think for a young striker to get a goal straight away in a pre-season tour will give him a lot of confidence. But Semenyo, he looked as though he didn't even need a rest, to be honest. He was so sharp and really kind of forthcoming.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying there. But look how many times we've seen it when Erling's not been playing and we get into their positions and we always cut it back. Might be a simple little thing, but with him having that instinct of being a number 9, he's in there already.
Great point. Yeah.
You know, when Erling's not there, a lot of times we're saying, well, there's nobody in the box, nobody in the 6-yard box, because they're always looking for that cutback. But his instinct of being that 9 has got him in there.
If it echoes that, it kind of suits the patterns of play,
Absolutely.
so to speak. Speaking of patterns of play, Inter Milan had one. It was Pavard with their goal, but they did seem to have that ball over in at the top on the right there, left-hand side, Paul, a couple of times.
And it took us, with them playing wing-backs, and look, seen the reporter before the game, that's a formation that they've played for years and years and years.
Yeah.
You know, so it's very, very obvious that they try and get overloads in wide areas. And they work it well, they know what they're doing. You know, and it happened 2 or 3 times. I think just maybe we Rico will be getting caught in between being a right back and being a midfielder. It created that little bit of space from outside. I mean, he did have the chance to get back in. He wasn't out wide enough to stop it. He was tucked in a little bit more.
Even like in that instance there, Guardiola's playing right back, so we were really disorganised. The line wasn't right in terms of the positions that we should have been in at the start of the game. So I think that's something that comes with more games, is being able to be comfortable in positions that you're not really used to.
Yes.
But even the pull back there, I think we can avoid that. We need our centre midfielder, whether that was Kovacic or Reinders, on that penalty spot to stop the cut back. But like what Paul said, this is just about time now, and I think recognising that they'll not analyse this, they'll look at it and they'll go, OK, next game, that's something that we can't really afford to kind of do against the best teams. And also our wingers have got to be smart, and they've got to try and help and double up and in track runners, especially when you're playing against wing backs.
Yeah, it's something that's easily sorted. You know, as a player in these pre-season games, you know where you should be and what you want to do, but because you're not quite up to speed yet, it just takes you a little bit longer to get back into that mode of doing it again, you know?
Yeah. And as you say, we've got the next week or so to be doing just that. And with us every step of the way in Hong Kong, we have got FG alongside Scott Carson and Sean Wright-Phillips. They are pitch side in the stadium. Let's see what they made of our first pre-season game against Inter Milan.
Hello, welcome back, guys. Full time, of course, Inter Milan winning the Asahi Superdry Trophy. But that second half was electric from a Man City perspective. It's only right, Sean, we come straight to you because we're on the topic of wingers. Ryan McAdoo, he really impressed in that second half, didn't he?
I feel like he did more than impress. I feel like in many ways he's given the manager a problem now for whoever comes or whoever's there already. At the minute, he played as well as Semenyo for me in that half that he got. Everything he did, he was very, very positive. He tried to get shots off in the end as well. He was putting crosses in on his weak foot. He went both ways. And you know what? As a winger, you forget you have to entertain people. And there was almost that feeling that every time he got on the ball, there was an anticipation in the air. And it's brilliant to see. I loved it.
Yeah, we're reading some comments on social media from City fans, Scott, and like echoing what Sean just said, it was all about Ryan McAdoo in that second half. Every time he got the ball, he seemed really, really confident, really desperate to impress. He's done himself no harm with that performance, hasn't he?
No, we were talking about before the game, weren't we, about people coming in and trying to impress the new manager. And like Sean just said, he's given him a headache. But I think one thing that Enzo will be really happy with, he made a few changes at half-time and must have sorted out a few tactical issues. And it was just dominant second half, wasn't it? And Big Gigi had not a lot at all to do in the second half.
I tell you what, though, we'll stay on the topic of Gigi and that penalty save that he made, because there was a moment where we looked at each other and was like, wow, that looked like an amazing save. Once we saw the replay, it looked even better. As a goalkeeper, how difficult is it in a penalty shootout when you're facing shots like that? And also, how difficult is it to make the save with that arm rather than a double-handed one?
You can see how quick the ball goes now, and as soon as the kicker hits the back of the net. But obviously the size of Big Gigi he's went to the right side and threw a big arm up, and to be honest, if his hand wasn't there, he might have hit the crossbar if his hand was that high. So it was a fantastic save.
Don't worry, Sean, it was just a little bit of pyro, mate.
To be honest, I felt my neck burning all of a sudden. So I was just like, what was that?
Yeah, just a little bit of pyro, of course. You can hear the noise here in Hong Kong. The players are coming towards and they're super excited. And speaking of players, we're about to be joined by one.
You good?
Antoine Semenyo. You're live on Matchday Live. Hello, my friend. We'll start straight from the start. What an electric start to pre-season it was for you. It was like you've been playing for months.
Yeah, I mean, the World Cup didn't end long ago, but I've been keeping myself in shape over the pre-season, the summer as well, so yeah, I feel good.
Sean, watching that, we were in awe of him at half-time, like we were from the moment you've joined. From a winger's perspective, how far can this man go?
He can go wherever he needs to go. I've seen him at Bournemouth. I saw when he came to City. And normally when people go to new clubs, especially in January, that transition period is normally hard. But he picked it up well. But I'm intrigued, right? So you seem to prefer, you seem naturally better going past somebody on the left than the right. Why is that? And you're both-footed.
I don't know. I feel like sometimes when you're watching my clips, I'm right foot, dominantly right foot. So I try to change up a little bit, mix up my game. Once I go down the line a couple of times, in their head they're thinking, oh, am I going to go down line? Opens the opportunity to go to the right side. So I try to mix up as much as I can.
How's pre-season been? Obviously, new manager.
Yeah.
Desperate to impress, a lot of the players are.
Of course.
It seems like you've been doing quite a bit of running and stuff, but how's overall? How's it been?
Yeah, it's been
first pre-season with the club.
It's been
as well?
amazing. He's been really good with us. The shape, everything, like it's coming slowly, and you can see in the game that we're working on the patterns that we worked on. But it's been good so far. Everyone's enjoying it. So.
And obviously, this man here is a pundit. He's brand new on Matchday Live.
I'm not sure about that.
I need to get your opinion on it.
You've been summoned.
He's been absolutely brilliant. Have you enjoyed it?
I've loved it, to be fair.
we've-
I'm not sure about being a pundit yet, but I'm just learning the ropes.
And also, I have to ask you about our fans here in Hong Kong. I mean, we're on our Asia tour. It goes up a notch every time we get here, but you're absolutely loved. We just heard your song being sang here as well. How's it been?
Yeah, they've been amazing. Just from when we stepped into the hotel to the training sessions, they've been amazing. So passionate, and they're also polite as well. Like when they're asking for pictures, signatures, it's so nice to see. Refreshing.
It's been amazing. See, listen, we'll let you go. Congratulations on the first game. Great performance. Assist for Antoine Semenyo.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. He's left me with the mic now as well. I'll hold it. You can see. It suits me. I can go with both, yeah. You can see how loved he is. But I also get the impression he's loved not just by the fans, but the players and everybody. He seems really, really hard-working and desperate to impress. He was brilliant today.
Yeah, he was fantastic. Like we said at half-time, he was the one out that probably should have had a little bit more ball, because every time he was getting the ball, he was causing problems. And obviously, he went a little bit more central in the second half, but he's obviously hit the ground running, so that's only a positive, isn't it?
Really interesting question by you, Sean, so I'm going to flip that back to you, actually, and ask from a winger's perspective, generally, do you have a preference of which side you feel more comfortable on? He was fantastic on the left-hand side, but he still gets goals and assists on the right-hand side as well.
Yeah, he does, but I find when he's on the right, he's more that guy that you're going to see in the box getting tap-ins and stuff. But when he's on the left-hand side, it feels like he actually creates as well as he can score. So I just wanted to find out, because Craig Bellamy was the same. Craig wouldn't play on the right, but he was unbelievable on the left. Darren Huckabee, a bit similar as well.
I mean, we have to, of course, focus once again on Ryan McAdoo. We spoke about him at the top of the show. It's a massive opportunity for young players in pre-season, Scott. After that performance, how much would he have put in the manager's mind for the future? How much does the first game of pre-season matter in the long term?
Well, like I said before, he came on a half-time as well, and it's never easy in pre-season coming on a half-time and making an impact in a game. So I think moving forward for the next couple of games, he's definitely going to give Enzo the headache of he wants more minutes. So hopefully the next two games we're going to see him a little bit more, and hopefully we see him as direct as he was today and causing the left backs that many problems. 90
minutes for Rico Lewis. He got the captain's armband at the end as well. To do 90 minutes in your first pre-season match is quite impressive, but he was everywhere, wasn't he? Ended up in a midfield spot towards the end.
Yeah, he definitely was. I don't think I could have done 90 minutes in my first game, to be honest. But it's great to see, and you know what? We came out of that game, everybody feeling. I was a little bit worried about Nico when he went down in the middle. Like, we've come away from this game, no injuries, one's got minutes in our legs, so now you can just kind of build from there.
What does the rest of pre-season look like now from a player's perspective, Scott? So they've got the first minutes, like Sean said, of course, recovery session tomorrow, couple more games to go in Seoul. Does it ramp up as you go along?
I don't think the train will ramp up. I think they'll have been working as hard as they will all pre-season, but I think the biggest thing, the players that probably Enzo's got in his head that is going to be his main starters, players in the season, he's going to want to give them as many minutes as possible. And you know, these pre-seasons now, back in the day you used to have 6-7 games. They've got 3 games and they're right into the Community Shield, so it's going to be interesting. We're probably going to see more of the team for the Community Shield probably in the last game, but obviously the next game's another opportunity for probably more young lads to make an impression.
Yeah, absolutely. Another opportunity indeed. Of course, Mateus Nunes, Omar Marmoush and Ruben Diaz are now with us. They're with the squad. How good is that to have some more senior players who, of course, did so well for their countries at the World Cup back in the squad? And maybe even, Sean, from their perspective, because there's a new manager and there's new people around, Do you reckon they would have been really eager to be here and to be involved in a pre-season tour?
Yeah, 100%, because it kind of goes back to what we've all been saying, that new manager, even Semenyo said it himself, you're eager to impress, you're eager to let the manager know you're ready and willing to fight for him. So they want to come here and do the same thing. So they'll be itching to play the next game.
You can see behind us as well, some of our players have just been doing their sprints, some are carrying it on. A question for you, Sean, because I'm not sure how many sprints post-match you would have done.
I've done a few. I used to do them. I used to do them with the other lads.
What is that like? Because they are genuinely sprinting the length of the field. I mean, I imagine it's because of what they ate pre-match and, you know, the nutritionists are, or maybe even during pre-season for their fitness levels. But what were them sprints like?
No, well, I didn't like running, period, to be honest with you. Unless there was a ball there, I was probably the worst runner. I was always in the third group and everything. God knows how I used to run so much when the game was on, but that is hard. It's
he was always a starter. He never had to used to do it.
No, I've done those a few times. It depends in the game. Like now, it's not. It's fine because they know they're just getting the running back in their legs. They didn't play or didn't play that many minutes. But when the season's on and that happens, it's almost like a kick in the teeth because you haven't played. The last thing you want to do is put your boots on and go and run when the game's finished.
Scott, you said you did that for a laugh sometimes.
No, not for a laugh. The other lads were coming out, and obviously I'd not done anything all day. Just sat and watched the game. So it was like, well, I'm definitely gonna have some food when I get on the bus. So I might as well burn it off. And when obviously some of the lads were going out and not sulking, but a bit grumpy about it, 100. I was like, I'll do it with you. And obviously I wasn't near the front. I was always trailing behind, but I still put it in.
Get the impression, based on how the players have been with you whilst we've been on this tour, that you were massively loved in that dressing room. We can see why. Spending a few days in Hong Kong, we know exactly why you were so loved. How great is it to see the players always staying together? There's a real togetherness with this group, and regardless of when players come or go, they don't forget the players that have been before them, and they also integrate the new players just as well.
Yeah, that's what I've said it loads of times. The lads across the whole groups I was at, they were so humble, and obviously I was a little bit nervous coming on this trip and seeing a few people. I haven't seen them for a little while, but it's like I'd never been aware. They were so humble and came over and speaking, and it is a nice feeling and that's a testament to them, that how much they've got their feet on the ground.
Let's talk about Semenyo again then, because he just came back to us, Sean, and that's one thing. He never really had that time to have that integration period. He scored with his last kick for Bournemouth, came straight in at Man City and set the world alight, so to speak. Of course, the goals on the pitch help. But this pre-season, how much will it help him to develop relationships with players and to feel even closer than he's not already is with this group?
It's massive, because even like here, every pre-season trip's always going to be a little bit different. But with this one, there's not much for them to do. They can't really get out of the hotel because the fans are everywhere. So you're literally spending 24 hours a day with that person and that team that you're going to be kicking the ball with. So they're going to learn a lot about each other, and they're also going to learn the opposite way around, what they like and what they don't like, what to do and what not to do. And honestly, it builds relationships on the pitch as well.
What do the days look like, Scott, in the camp during pre-season? Because there's a lot going on. Like Sean said, they can't step outside because we're so lucky to have such an amazing global fan base, and they will be waiting at the hotel like they are throughout. But then they'll have their training session, maybe a few meetings, but a lot of spare time for them. So what normally goes on?
Lucky for me, it was the worst time of being a footballer during the pre-season. You're literally in the room, you go for breakfast, back to your room for another couple of hours, down for lunch, meeting, back to the room for more 3-4 hours, and then you'd obviously come training, which is the best part. But then you're back in your room, and obviously when you travel to places like this, there's always that thing of jet lag, and if you've got jet lag and you can't sleep at night, the days feel like weeks in one day. So to me, it was just too much thoughts going around my head and stuff like that. I never ever used to look forward to a pre-season tour.
Sounds like you were going through it on pre-season, Scott. I'm glad that you're on this side now.
I'm glad you're looking after me this one.
Yeah, let's talk about this trip then. I mean, being on this side for yourself, obviously we're so lucky because, Sean, how many tours is this in a row for you now? Is this your
5 in total?
Your 5th?
If you include the Club World Cup, 5.
Well, hopefully about 20 more, because it's always so fun. with you.
Depends where Strictly takes me.
Well, I didn't mention it, but now that you did, we can touch on that in a moment.
No, we don't need to talk about it.
How have you found it, Scott, on this side of the, well, we'll say this side of the pitch, I'd guess, like being... I said to Semenyo you were a pundit, and I'm sure if we speak to people, that is going to be what I'm going to be calling you.
I'm not sure about that, but no, this time around, obviously, we haven't really been in the hotel. We've been, like we said before, we've been all different places, and to me, that's perfect because you don't have time to think. You're just doing stuff, and you're seeing all the fans, you're seeing the smiles on the faces, seeing the little kids and having a kick about with them, and that's the sort of stuff that makes you happy and makes you want to be here. And as long as I'm not sat in the room and it's taking me back to when I was a player, I'm more than happy.
I mean,
sorry, Scott, let the room go. You keep talking about this room.
I can't.
I mean, my question for you, Sean, is: have Strictly told you how many times you'll have to go back up to the room when you're at your camp?
I don't like confined spaces.
One thing's for certain, Strictly's perfect for Sean because you can never sit still. He's always doing something. There's been so many amazing activations. You've, of course, seen it as part of our Matchday Live coverage. As we move into the next leg of the tour, you guys are going to continue to be busy. Is there anything in particular you'd like to do, Scott, whilst you're here or even in Seoul?
Well, I was a bit gutted. I went to the Jockey Club in Hong Kong, and it's like a private sports club in the middle of the racetrack, and I think we just missed the horse racing by a week, so I was a bit gutted. I would have loved to have been to the Hong Kong races. Yeah,
that would be good. Sean, anything that you want to do in particular? You've been to Seoul before as well. That's next up for us.
Do you know what? Like, me and Scott talk in the car on the way over, and it's always nice to see the kids. So to get to see that, like the kids in the community again and have a little kick around with them, I would like to do that.
How much has that changed over the years with sort of, I mean, the work that City do in the community? Everybody knows, it's clear to see since when Sean was a player and even before that. But how much has it changed in terms of participants who are genuine Manchester City supporters?
Well, like we said before the show, it was if you'd have come here 6, 7, 8 years ago, it probably would have been half 50-50 with the red side, but everywhere you go now, the blue shirts all around the hotel. Obviously, every camp we've been to, it's all Man City fans, and the young ones are taking over here.
I mean, listen, also the global superstars we've seen how much love the likes of Phil Foden are getting here as well. How much does that help with fan bases? Because, I mean, it's clear to see what happened to Erling Haaland over the World Cup. I think he gained millions, and that is by no stretch of the imagination and over-exaggeration, because he's gained millions of followers and millions of fans of Erling Haaland.
Yeah, but it's well deserved. I think from all of them, that fan base that they have, wherever it may be or how many people it may be, it's well deserved. They earned it. Like, you don't build that sort of fan base without doing very, very well on the pitch. And also engaging with these people or seeing people along the way and giving people your time. So everything they got, both from Haaland and Foden, they deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely. How hard is it, Scott, as a player to be in an environment as big as Manchester City, but also being able to give moments or like give your real personality to social media? Because for those that are watching about Erling Haaland, we have the pleasure of seeing it often. He's genuinely the person you see on Instagram, and it sometimes feels like it's a bit of a full-time job for him when he's on there.
If you're talking about social media, you're asking the total wrong person, because that's not my cup of tea. But no, it's obviously everyone wants to keep up to date with what they're doing, what to do day to day. Like you said, they do the talking on the field. So if they keep performing on the field, then it doesn't. I'm a bit old school. If they do it on the field and they want to do whatever on social media, then that's fine. But once they start not doing it on the pitch, that's when I would, as a player, I would have a little problem with it.
Okay, but now that you're off the pitch, we've been told that you are going to be posted whilst you're here in Hong Kong on social media.
Someone's going to help me out.
On Instagram. I love that. I went onto his Instagram account. Obviously, I have the pleasure of seeing your selfies daily and everything you're
They're brilliant, aren't they?
They are incredible. You need to follow Sean on Instagram if you don't already. And I went on Scott's and I was like, you know what? This man's hilarious. Surely his content's going to be quite good because that's the world I'm from. He's not posted since January.
That doesn't surprise me.
But the last time he posted, he got 36,000 odd likes. So he still got it.
Yeah.
Give us a bit of a preview what the social media's got to look like, Scott. Just tell us.
I've no idea. I don't. I think everyone knows he got set up as a laugh by all the kit lads in the dressing room.
This has been saved by the gaffer because Enzo Maresca is about to join us live here on Matchday Live. So we'll carry that on another time.
I think you should carry it on while he's there.
We can definitely ask him for sure. We can indeed. We'll bring him. We'll bring it in.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Enzo. First of all, congratulations and welcome back to Manchester City. Last time you were here, it was the most successful period of the club. And you shared a dressing room with the man who's our newest pundit. What do you make of Scott Carson? And do you think he'll be good at this?
He's a legend. He's a legend.
I'm not going to be able to ask him a serious question because he's just going to start laughing. Look.
No, the style on Matchday Live is very much to make you feel at home like you are. Good minutes for the guys here. It was an electric performance by some of them. We have to ask you about our wingers. Semenyo was with us just before. Yeah. How impressed were you with him?
Yeah, no, to be honest, impressed with all of them. For sure, the wingers, they were very good. Even Xavi was good, as you said, Antoine, Ryan. So I think overall they were good, but happy with the performance.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Sean's.
Enzo, like you said, congratulations and welcome back. How did you feel like you got what you needed out of that game in terms of the tactics that you're trying to drum into the players?
Yeah. We struggled a bit more first half, but we knew the reason why. In second half we were much better. And as I said, in this moment also I think it's important the physical, condition. In 2 weeks we have already an important game, so it's good that they, get better and better and better. So good.
A couple of more games left on the tour, but what have you made of Hong Kong so far? Because the support's been incredible.
Yeah.
Are you feeling the love from our Hong Kong fans like the players are as well?
Yeah, absolutely, yes. Since we arrived here, Hong Kong, with all the fans at the training session the other day, tonight, it's nice always to share time with them.
And finally, we have to ask you about the captain, Phil Foden, today. He came up to us and he was a little bit worried, saying the armband might not fit his arm. What a moment that was for him. And then transitioning into another academy product, Rico Lewis, wearing the captain's armband.
You have to go for the same size arm, so that's why he put Rico.
I think you said something like he could have borrowed Bernardo's from last season as well. How nice is it to have so many amazing academy products like Ryan McKay, who as well came from academy in England as well. But there's so many young players at this football club are so hungry to do well.
It's amazing feeling because, as you said, they are from the academy, they are from the house, the home, so it's nice for them. And also because they represent a little bit, the fans and everyone. I was happy also with their performance, so good.
Well, listen, we wish you nothing but the best. Enjoy the rest of the tour. We're delighted to have you as our manager. We'll let you head off for now, but thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. No question from Scott, yeah? Very good, guys. Thank you.
Next week, I need to learn a little bit.
He set the bar high now, Scott. I tell you what, you're going to have to be a pundit now. That was Enzo Maresca speaking exclusively to us on Matchday Live as he meets some of our players, and one of them some of our fans, and one of them just threw a shirt. It landed on his head. He seems like a great guy, Scott. You spent time with him, and we're all so desperate for him to succeed. Based on what he says and how much he lives and breathes the game, we expect him to do well, don't we?
Yeah, he's just got that class about him. Even just then with the way he came over, the way he speaks, it's just everything's a bit quite relaxed. But I know for a fact when he's in that dressing room and he's trying to get his points across, he's going to get animated. And like I said, I only knew him as a coach under Pep, but everything I've seen, I knew that he would be a top manager.
Well, listen, we're going to head back now to our Manchester studio. It's been an absolutely amazing leg of the tour here in Hong Kong. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in to our coverage, and we'll be warming Scott up with his new Instagram and a question for Enzo Maresca next time. From all of us in Hong Kong, thank you very much. Sending love to everyone in the studio.
Sending all the love back to FG, Sean and Scott there. Next time we see them, it will be in Seoul in South Korea. And gosh, we learned so much there, Scott scared of rooms when he was a player, do you know what I mean? Sean is claustrophobic. Scott starting social media.
Must be jet lagged.
Yeah, and great obviously to hear from our manager on the show as well, Enzo Maresca, who was very pleased with what he got there from the first pre-season game. He does seem to just be very cool, calm and collected, and kind of what we echoed here in the studio, Paul. It was just a case of getting the young players involved, match fitness, and he was happy with what he saw.
It was. It just seemed very chilled, didn't it? Dead relaxed. very comfortable in what he's doing and what he's got, and you know, he'd have been delighted with the performance. You know, and he said he got little bits out of it that what he wanted to. But just more than anything else, you know, I think he touched on it there about getting the players right for 2 weeks' time. The majority of the players, the senior players, he's got there. So whether that's a little insight into what the team's going to be in the Community Shield, whether it's a lot of the senior lads that we've seen today, added with a couple more when they're in Korea. I just think rather than rushing the ones back from the World Cup that have got to latter stages, that maybe he's gave a little hint that it might be the ones that were there and the ones that have just joined. Yeah, because I mean, Foden and Gvardiol did around, they were second most played, I think 70-odd minutes, 72, and then obviously it was Rico and Kusanov played the full 90 minutes. So as you say, a little telltale sign there. Up next, as I said, we head to South Korea, so any fans in Seoul, we're excited to be coming to you. What does that look like as we build up to the K-League All-Stars? That's on Wednesday. It is a 12 o'clock kickoff, I believe. Is that right, Maya? Yes, it is. So make sure you join us here. That's UK time. But what do the next few days look like? Obviously, there's travelling. Yeah. Training, it's intense. Is there a lot of it? Is there meetings? I mean, FG was asking about behind the scenes, but what will Enzo and what will the squad be doing in the build-up to that over the next, 4 or 5 days? I think it's finding that balance of the boys recovering off the game today, which you see a lot of the boys that are doing the runs after the game. It's so that everybody goes into tomorrow being on the same kind of loading within your body, regardless of the minutes that you've played, which is generally what happens. That's why players do the runs after, is so that you can have tomorrow as that full recovery day, whether it's a travel day tomorrow. But I think, like what he said before, I think in terms of training, it's back to training, making sure it's intense, making sure the boys are ready for the next game. And I think now you'll see the intensity kind of turn up a little bit. You'll get to see more players having more minutes, and generally that's what pre-season's about. It's just about trying to recover, but then getting ready for the next days of training, but then looking forward to the next game. And it's intense, it's quick, but at the same time your body adapts so quick, and I think the boys have got absolutely everything to be able to do that. And you don't realise how finely tuned they are as athletes, even the younger players. With the runs after the game, it's just all part and parcel of doing it. But I used to love going on pre-season tours because it happens so quick. It's intense. It's what you want to do. You have that little bit of bonding in the hotel, in and around, doing your activation, your appearances as a player, but also the trainings, what you want it to be, all real high intensity fun, and then getting ready for the next game. Yeah, and like he says, well, actually the bond's not just that you're building on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. And I'd forgot it, but it was a nice reminder from you, Paul, as well. We're seeing them play the 45, 70, 90 minutes, but you were saying they're coming into this already probably working harder than they're going to do in the season. Just something I think that's important for us to remember, because we're looking at them going, where are you at? But you're saying, well, they'll be doing a lot of running behind the scenes as well. They do a pre-season. The training you do is a lot harder than the actual match fitness that you get. And it's different now as well. I mean, Steph's a lot younger than me, so it probably changed. But pre-season used to be there to get you fit. That was the whole point of it. You now have to be fit for pre-season. Pre-season, yeah. Because you get left behind otherwise, don't you? You do, massively. Yeah. I mean, I won't bore you with old stories, but players coming back a stone and a half overweight for pre-season because they knew they had that time. Yeah. That was that time for them to get fit for the first game of the season. They have to be that fit now at the start of pre-season because the whole levels have just went through the roof. Yeah, and it's not getting you fit. You're actually kind of getting match ready, as he said, for absolutely time. Well, we face the K-League All-Stars next, as I say. We will be bringing you all the build-up to that from 11 p.m. UK time here in Studio 1. We'll be hearing as well what Sean, FG and Scott get up to. That's happening on Wednesday. The team will fly out on Tuesday. All of this to come.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Matchday Live. First of all, I want to get your immediate thoughts on how much you're looking forward to this game between City and the K-League All-Stars.
Yeah, always look forward to the All-Star game. It's always an exciting game for Korea and for the players especially. I think they really enjoy it. And then the fans will sell out the ground and it'll be a really good atmosphere and quite a special occasion, so looking forward to it a lot.
How much do the fans enjoy these moments, these games, where the K-League All-Stars, like you said, kind of the best of the best, take on teams such as City?
Yeah, they love it. You get kind of different kinds of fans. You get the more casual or They call it EPL here for the English Premier League fan, and you get the K-League kind of hardcore fans as well. And it's just an amazing sight at the games where you see so many different jerseys from all the different clubs in the league, and then you'll see all the jerseys from even the Premier League, but you'll probably see a lot of Man City jerseys as well. So yeah, it's a big event. It'll be a sellout. You know, it's the all-star team, so it is kind of the best players in the league. Some very exciting players in good form, players who played at the World Cup, like Yazan, who played for Jordan, Lee Gi-hyuk, who was starter for Korea in all their games. You've got some young talents like Son Jung-bom, who plays for FC Seoul, which is where the game's held. He's a very exciting prospect who a lot of people are hoping that he'll make the next step to the Premier League one day. So, yeah, it'll be a good team. There's usually a lot of goals in this game.
Well, you've certainly got me excited. One player that I would also like to pick your brains out a little bit more is a name that will be familiar to Premier League fans, Ki Sung-young, who played at Swansea, Sunderland and Newcastle. What kind of level is he playing at now, and what kind of role would you expect him to play in the game?
So he is a leader-like figure. He still plays in the K-League, still at the top, one of the top teams at Pohang Steelers. We do have the feeling, although I don't think it's officially announced, that this is the last dance. But, you know, he's got a lot of experience. He still plays most weeks, maybe limited to maybe 20, 30 minutes in this game. But a lot of players look up to him because of his history in the Premier League and also with the national team. And I think there's a big hope that he shows an interest in the coaching side of the game, you know, that defensive midfielder, passer, a bit like your previous manager, seemed to do well in coaching. So hopefully he sticks around in the game.
Since City's last trip to South Korea, which was in 2023, fans were crowding outside of the players' hotel. The stadiums were packed. The support there was felt massively by Manchester City. Do you feel the club is still just as popular there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Koreans appreciate teams that play nice football, and Man City, of course, have been doing that for the last decade. And also the star names of the team. Phil Foden's very popular. Haaland, from his interview with Jisoo from Blackpink last time out, was incredibly well received. And yeah, I think a lot of people really like Man City, although there is that Man City, Man United divide. I think there's one woman on Instagram who it seems to be like a super fan. Her name's Mom City, and she must have every Kevin De Bruyne shirt and every Man City shirt maybe in the last decade at least.
Well, Ross Davis, thank you so much for joining us. Your K-League expertise are definitely helping us ahead of our game against the K-League All-Stars.
Yes, thank you so much to Ross there, giving us the insight there onto who we'll be facing with the K-League All-Stars on Wednesday. Now, I've been waiting to save this chat because he's made a lot of noise with Manchester City fans and actually with a lot of England fans during the World Cup, but brand new signing. Elliot Anderson finally arrived at the club. There was some brilliant footage of him arriving here at Manchester City where we got to make his signing official before he went to go and enjoy a nice 3-week holiday. I mean, you won't be able to hear it. There was a great clip where Enzo goes, go on rest, because once you're back, it's 3 days, 3 days, 3 days. Signed from Nottingham Forest, of course, for me as well, had a brilliant World Cup playing with England. He likes to play in that 8 role. How Enzo uses him remains to be seen. Steph, what did you make of the signing? Because for me, probably one of the best midfielders in the Premier League, if not Europe, last season. 22 or 23 years old. I think this is a huge, monumental signing for the club.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what you said, Cal, in terms of what he's done for Nottingham Forest before, previously with Newcastle. I think he's a midfielder that can do a bit of everything. I think we've seen that in the World Cup. He's made his England debut in September last year, and he became a starter quite quickly and showed how important he is. But I think for us as a club to have someone of his calibre, to be at an age where he can still develop, to still get better, and of course the price tag's always going to be talked about, but at the same time he showed so much potential, and he's got the right attitude to get better, to learn and to improve, and he's going to get better by the manager but also the players around him. He's got some great players in there to learn different ways of playing. But look, I think it's an absolute steal, if I'm being honest. I think the type of player that we probably need is someone that is not scared of a tackle, breaking up play, but also can start attacks and contribute as well at the other end of the pitch. So I think as a club we should be delighted, and I'm so excited to see what he does for us once he's had his rest.
Yes, couldn't agree more. Paul, I mean, Steph's kind of covered a few of them there. What does, from what you've seen of him in the World Cup for Nottingham Forest, what does he bring? Because I really don't say this as like a hyperbolic statement, but like it feels like he's got everything.
He's got a bit of everything. You know, we know he can play as a 6. He's probably better as an 8. And his energy levels are through the roof. He keeps the ball. I think he kept the ball more than anybody else in the World Cup. I think it was.
Yeah.
And I think he broke the play up more than anyone else as well. So it just shows you he's probably more of like an old school box-to-box midfielder. But as we see here, his technique's fantastic.
We actually did this game together,
yeah, we did.
I remember.
And he was outstanding that night as well. But he can finish, he can create. And at 23 years old, you know, he's already had a season of his life last year at Forest, where he was not just their best players, he was one of the best midfielders in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And I think for us to get him, people talk about the price tag, but when you look at all the other crazy prices that's going around at the minute, you know, I think it's going to be unbelievable value for money. And you put him in with other midfielders that we've got in there already, I think the mix is going to be incredible.
Me and my brother described him as almost, I feel like he reminds me of that old school English Gareth Barry, James Milner, but like with the technical ability of a Spanish, you know, David Silva.
For me, he's got a bit of Steven Gerrard about him.
Yeah.
About how he handles himself and how he gets stuck in, but he's got that unbelievable quality that goes with it.
Yeah, his technical ability.
I don't want to put too much pressure on him already, but
no,
that's a credit to him.
Yes.
That's the sort of player I see him as already.
And he was, as we've mentioned there as well, was a key, vital role in England's World Cup run to the semi-final, and arguably you could say player of the match a few times as well.
Yeah, even the Argentina game, I know that we lost that game, but I think in terms of someone that really wanted to grab a hold of a game where it was so important for England, and you're playing against the likes of Messi, to like that challenge and to thrive in the biggest of games, I think that's when you see the best of him. And I think his work sometimes probably goes a little bit under the radar because of how fit he is in terms of the work that he does in front of the back four, breaking up play, closing down spaces. But yeah, I'm excited to see. I just don't think we have a midfielder like him.
I agree.
I think we have, say, the likes of Rodri and Nico quite similar. You've got the likes of Phil and Ryan Cherky that can play similar positions in similar ways, but I think it's someone that can do a little bit of everything, but also have that little bit of bite.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe away from home, and especially in the Champions League against teams that probably tactically do things different. I think I can see him really enjoying himself, and I think he's from the northeast as well, probably the wrong side of the northeast.
Yeah, but it's the northeast.
Probably.
That humility and that hard work, he definitely is. And that hard work is probably something that I think that's his strengths, and I think he can build his game on that.
Yeah, it really is, and I know we're all so excited to see him on the pitch in that shirt, give him a warm welcome, and I always love any player that decides to choose Manchester City, but I think I can speak for all Manchester City fans to say we love them a little bit more. And you talk about that bark and bite, when in his first interview he drops a lovely one-liner like this. Let's play this from his first interview with Manchester City.
It's one of the biggest derbies in the world, and for as long as I've known Manchester, City's been the kings of Manchester. So yeah, it'll be a great fixture, and I can't wait to be involved in something like that.
Sold, Cal.
So straight up facts, kings of Manchester. So there we are, Elliot Anderson, our brand new midfielder signing. Massive warm welcome to Manchester City. We can't wait to see you on that pitch. I'm saying that like he's watching, but maybe someone will clip it up and send it to him. Little look around, obviously, as we know, all teams are building up to the start of the Premier League season. Just wanted to do a quick kind of touch base on arguably somewhat might be our biggest opponents. There might be some surprises as well throughout the season. Beginning with Chelsea, they played today, lost 2-1. New manager in Xabi Alonso. Made some big moves in the transfer window as well. The signings of Lacroix from Crystal Palace, the centre-half. Morgan Rogers as well, huge. It looks like Danny Welbeck, Jordan Henderson. Thoughts on Chelsea and Xabi Alonso?
I think they're going to be strong.
Yeah.
I do. I really like the look of them. I like Xabi. I know him. He's a fantastic guy. The players will love him. He's a players' manager that wants to play football the right way, and I think he's got a lot of really good young players there that he can get the best out of, and he had the experience in. And I quite like the Welbeck signing.
Yeah.
As well. I think Danny Welbeck, he's obviously a fantastic professional, but bringing somebody in of that experience, people forget he's a Premier League winner as well, into a young group like that. I think Chelsea could do really well next season.
Yeah, and you can see already the respect that Xabi Alonso has said. They've kind of shifted their transfer strategy a little bit, and as you say, bringing in as well, it looks like Jordan Henderson.
And I like it, Kel. It's as if he's taking a bit of control.
Yeah.
I think maybe wrongly at the start called Chelsea a bit of a basket case at the start of the show, but I think he's come in there. But I think the managers before haven't had the say in the teams that they wanted to do, and I think he's went in there on the premise that it's his team, it's his club, and he'll run it the way he wants to.
Yeah. Moving to Tottenham, obviously we're very lucky to stay up. We knew they were going to have to make some big moves, obviously behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. Behind the scenes, bringing Robert De Zerbi, who for me has always been a brilliant manager. And they have also been making huge moves in the transfer market already. Tonali from Newcastle, 100 mil. Fernandez, 85 mil. Then you've got Marcus Sensei and Andy Robertson also coming in on frees. They seem to be knowing, they knew there was a job at hand, but they're going at it. And what have you made of the way they've gone at it so far, Steph?
It just couldn't be the same as last season. Something had to change with Tottenham. I think a club like Tottenham, new stadium, I think last year was really, really disappointing. And they are so lucky that they were managed to get a manager like De Zerbi and to do what he did towards the end of the season and make the players believe, but also adapt to his style of player it just shows how good he is as a manager and a coach to do that in a short space of time with players that are such low in confidence. But I think for me, we've got to look at Tottenham as a team that's going to improve a lot. And I think you look at them players that you mentioned, Fernandez, Tonali. Tonali's got Premier League experience. Look, Senesi's had been unbelievable at Bournemouth for a couple of years now. And I think you can see he's building a team that he wants and that's very coachable and can adapt to his style. And I'm excited to see what they do because I think I've always liked De Zerbi. I think I love what he did at Brighton. I think him and Pep probably had similar ways of thinking in terms of way that the player controlling the ball but being risky at the same times, and you can see that was kind of happening a little bit with Tottenham, and he needs the players to do that, and the club are going to try and give him the players that he wants and what he deserves, and it's up to the boys to be able to do that. But I think we look at Tottenham in a different way than we did probably last season, and rightly so, that they're a big club and need to be competing on all fronts.
The next one is Manchester United. Obviously, as we know, we are the kings of Manchester. Not necessarily new manager, but finally, they committed to having Michael Carrick. So in that sense, it feels like, OK, this is the new start. They are playing Atletico Madrid today, which is currently 1-1. Obviously, two big signings. The biggest one for me, Yuri Tielemans, and they also signed Andre Santos from Chelsea. How do you think Carrick is going to get on? And obviously, I'm guessing there'll be a bit more activity in the transfer window, but interested to know.
I think Michael's done fantastically well already. I think, last season when he came in, although it wasn't a luxury for the club, it was a luxury of just playing Premier League games and it being a European football, so he could just purely concentrate on his team and putting round pegs and round holes, because the manager previously was playing players out of position all over the place, and it was a win-win as soon as Michael went in. A group of players that are unhappy about how the team was playing, the formation they were playing, and they just put them in the right positions. And as a player, that's all you want, and it's simple, basic messages. And they've got good players, and they finished the season brilliantly well. But I do think it's going to be different with European football this season, because I know they've made a couple of signings. I don't think their squad depth point of view. 1 to 11, I think they're strong. Tielemans is a fantastic signing, obviously, through Leicester and then Aston Villa. But they need more than two midfielders to go in there if they want to compete at all levels going next season.
Liverpool new manager again, Iriola. Think they kind of been not as quick moving maybe in the transfer window. Rumoured to be interesting, Barcola from PSG, but I am excited to see what Iriola does with this Liverpool team.
Yeah, because of what he's did with Bournemouth previously. I think in terms of not probably having the best named players, but being able to create a team that was really hard to play against and bring back that intensity that Liverpool fans probably expect from their team. But there's no hiding away from the fact that they've got to replace some big players. I think the likes of Salah, how do you replace him, whether that's with Barcola, but you need somebody else. Andy Robertson, an experienced leader that's been through however many years with Klopp, been at the club a long time, how do you replace them sorts of figures? So I'm excited to see a change in the way that they play. But there's no doubt that I think Liverpool fans are wanting more signings, want more strength and depth to be able to compete at a time where you've got the likes of Chelsea, Tottenham, you've already got us established, Arsenal, Manchester United. There's so much competition now. It's about building the best squad that you can to be able to perform every 3 or 4 days. But I'm a big fan of Iriola. I think in terms of him as a coach and what he brings, I think he's classy, but also he plays football in the right way. So I think watching a few of the highlights from the pre-season games, you can see that they're starting to really embed what he wants them to do.
I think, I don't know the loss of Salah, maybe signing somebody to replace him or not, but I think the biggest thing is keeping Isak fit.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of the best strikers in Europe.
Yeah.
You know, keep him fit. He's going to... There's your 20, 25, 30 goal a season striker straight away.
Yeah, off the back.
If he can get him on the pitch.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the club that he was sold from, feel a little bit in disarray. Newcastle. Eddie Howe just announced that he left this week. Don't worry, Steph, I'll keep this conversation to Paul.
Thanks, Steph's quite happy.
I don't mind speaking about it.
The right smile on boss. Steph, I can put it to you, but they seem to be a little bit all over. It looks, they lost Tonali. There's talk of it looks like Guimaraes going to Arsenal. Eddie Howe now announces that he leaves, which is pretty mad, pre-season only just beginning. Gordon to Barcelona. Looks like it could be a tricky time on the other side of the northeast.
I think the timing of the departure is probably the thing that has probably maybe angered the fans the most. I think when you're halfway through a pre-season, but also you're potentially going to lose your captain. You've lost Tonali, you've lost Gordon, you've lost players that are probably have given Newcastle the X factor over the last few seasons, and there's no hiding away from the fact that Eddie Howe did an amazing job at Newcastle, and to get them back into the Champions League, beating PSG in the first game, back in the Champions League, but also winning the League Cup against Liverpool. There's been big moments in the club that Eddie Howe's done, but you could have just sensed last season that there was a little bit of change regarding the ownership, the hierarchy in terms of who was doing what job, and you could see that Eddie Howe wasn't probably totally happy. And I think it's just more the time, and I think if anybody had said Eddie Howe was gone at the end of the season, I think anybody would have probably accepted that, because it gives you a chance to get your manager in for the pre-season, try and keep some players or try and get players in. But I think now at this stage, when there's rumours about your captain going, I think that's probably what's going to anger Newcastle. It's what direction this club going to go in, and obviously the new manager that's came from Saudi Arabia, not many people know about, so it's just kind of that bit of a little bit of uncertainty up in Newcastle. I think that's something that we've not really been used to over the last 5-6 years with Eddie Howe.
Yeah, I think it stinks to me of maybe false promises. You know, I think if Eddie was going to go, as Steph said, it would have been end of last season, right at the beginning of the summer. I think the fact he stayed in there, probably thinking or having guarantees that he's going to have money to spend, or two, that he's going to have to keep his best players. And now we've seen his best players going. Players not coming in. I think it's probably went, look, I've taken these far enough as I can.
Yeah. And manager, they're building up some steam now. They've got the duck off the back in Arsenal. As I said, been linked with Bruno, been linked with Vinicius, which is, whether that happens would be crazy. Amir in personal terms have been agreed, but I'm yet to see Fabrizio Romano say that. So, but what are you thinking for Mikel and his Arsenal side this year? They'll just want to kick on, and I am worried that now they've done it once, they've got the confidence and the belief to maybe kick on a little bit, Paul.
Yeah, and they will do, because getting the first Premier League under their belt under Mikel was huge, but at the same time it's difficult to defend, because you're up there to be shot at. They've been the ones that have been chasing over the last 4 or 5 years. Now that they're the champions, everybody's going to be out for them, but look, they've got a wonderful squad. We know that. If they're going to add to it, say it again, keeping their 2 centre-halves fit is going to be huge for them. I think Saliba's going to miss the start of the season already, isn't he? How they cope with that. But there's no, look, for me, over the whole thing, I think next season is going to be the hardest Premier League ever to win. You know, look at the teams we've just spoke about there. You know, we've not even chucked the likes of Aston Villa in there, who had a great season last season.
Yeah. Your
Brightons, your Brentfords, who have all spent money again, and are all kicking on again. You know, so I think it's going to be brilliant.
Yeah.
It's going to be so tough. I don't think there's going to be 1 or 2 teams that are going to run away with it. I think there's going to be a group of 5 or 6 that are going to be right there to the very end.
Yeah, I think it is really building up to be an absolute cracker, and of course we'll be with you every game along the way. Well, there we are. Our first pre-season game is done and dusted. The new season is underway. The Enzo Maresca era has begun, and I have to say I'm absolutely buzzing to be back. And what a way to kick it off alongside the legends of Steph and Paul. Thank you both. Thanks to FG, to Sean and Scott over in Hong Kong. Next time we see them will be in Korea, because we play the K-League All-Stars on Wednesday. Matchday live, will be live from 11 a.m. UK time, so we'll bring you all the build up to that. Excited to see what these guys get up to for the rest of the time in Hong Kong and South Korea. And as well, we are going to bring you now some of the highlights from that game. And on Wednesday, I'll be joined by Nicky Weaver and Michael Brown. Massive thank you again. City fans, it's great to be back with you. I'll see you Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.